It's great to be back on the Stahls TV Morning Show.
It is.
We had Jenna and Courtney hosting last week, talking all about accessories, and this week I'm joined by special ghost host.
I am a ghost host.
Wow.
I'm only here once in a while.
Guest host, Bob Robinson, and we're going to talk a little bit later about opportunities in digital printing, of which Bob is an expert.
Moderately.
Moderately. All right, we're going to roll with it. And then we have lots of other firsts or seconds on this Stahls TV Morning Show. So number one, before we jump into that, we want to talk a little bit about where we'll be in the coming couple months, because there are trade shows around the country that we want to meet you at. And so what do we have on the schedule, Bob?
3 great shows. Looking forward to September 8th through 10th. That's just next week. We're going to be in ISS Orlando, the Orlando show, or the ISS show in Orlando at the Orange County Convention Center. Also, immediately following that, on the 14th through the 16th, we are in Las Vegas, SGIA, more of a national show, real big show, lots to see there. And then ISS Fort Worth, October 6th through 8th, another good time in Texas.
Yeah, and you're attending 2 of the shows, correct?
I'll be in Orlando and Fort Worth.
And then I'll be in Vegas. So
you win.
Yeah, I hope I win. But we'll have classes at all of those shows going on, both in the booth and then outside of the booth with the different convention centers or Printed Sportswear that puts them on. I think there's a workshop in Orlando and Fort Worth the day before the show. That's a great event. So if you can ever have a chance to make a workshop, it's a full 6-hour session the day before the show that we always give. I believe you and Courtney are delivering the ones at those shows, and it's a great opportunity to get hands-on with heat printing and everything you can make with a heat press. So please join us at the show. Something else that we started last week here on the morning show was a segment called Look of the Week, and we're encouraging viewers to submit your look, whether through email, through Instagram, or on Facebook, and I'll share how to do that in a second with us, and every week we're going to feature a new look. And so this week's winner is Matt Quimby from Superior Graphics and Tees, and he submitted this on the Stahls Facebook Show and Tell thread that happens every Saturday, and it was created for an all-star team. So talk to us a little bit about what we're looking at here.
Yeah, what you're seeing here is a really upscale baseball jersey. I love the use of full color on both the team logo there. That's awesome look. And then also took advantage of showing off the sponsor's logo there on the sleeve. Again, another full color application. So you used multiple placements. It wasn't just your run-of-the-mill off the rack type of look. And looks like it also was on performance wear. So it's an overall win.
Yeah. So. Nice look there. I love that he used the specialty platens, did different placements, utilized full color as well as single color numbering. So for all of those reasons combined, he was selected as Look of the Week. And so Matt, you can expect a swag box from Stahls TV with lots of little goodies in there to help you grow your business. And if you want to submit, we're going to do one of these every week. You can submit your looks to tv@stahls.com and we'll pull it up on the screen for you. Just email tv@stahls.com, simply include your company info as well as a photo of the look or a couple different photos of the look. You can also hit us up on Instagram. And so basically just tag us on Instagram @Stahls TV. That'll come in. We'll check up on that and grab your look from there. And then last but not least, you can share it just like Matt did in Facebook and submit them to Stahls Show and Tell. Just look up Stahls All Things Heat Printing on Facebook. So that's been exciting, and something else that we've had running now for 3 weeks is 8 ways to improve your brand. And Zach has been sharing with us on the first installment was how to improve, perhaps redesign your company logo. Second was the importance of a good mission statement, and now we're looking at consistency and general branding. So about a 4-minute clip, we want to throw it over to Zach to share with you now.
Welcome to this installment of 8 Ways to Improve Your Brand. Today, we're going to talk about consistency when branding. The first question that we have to answer, though, is what is a brand? A brand, simply put, is what people think about you or your company. Whether it's a personal brand or a company brand, a brand is what people think about you. So why do you think consistency is important when it comes to branding? Well, first, consistency helps you to manage perceptions. And this is the perception of your customers as well as your competitors. A consistent brand communicates professionalism, it communicates that your company has a purpose, and it communicates that you're stable. So you can manage the perceptions of the people who engage with your brand with consistency. Consistency also helps to eliminate confusion. It answers the question, who are you, the same way over and over and over again. For example, if you just take personally what you wear to work on a daily basis. If on Monday you wear a suit and a tie, Tuesday you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and Wednesday you're wearing some other type of work outfit, it's very difficult to understand what the culture or the brand is of your workplace. So consistency in what you communicate to your customers helps to eliminate confusion, especially when it comes to branding. It also protects your investment. Some of us have gone out and redesigned our logos at this point from one of the other parts of this series that we talked about in improving your logo. And you probably invested some money or some time in coming up with that logo and the way that it should be displayed. So consistency helps protect that investment. You aren't making sloppy applications of the logo that you've worked to design. It also builds on previous success. Consistency tells people that you will continue to deliver if you delivered the first time. It also tells people that your prices aren't going to change if they were this the last time. If you're communicating consistency in your brand, you're not going to see big spikes in pricing. Not much will change, and that's what customers want to hear. They get that feeling of security when your branding doesn't change. So the question then becomes, how do I build consistency in my branding? The first point on that is to commit and to communicate consistency in branding. You want yourself to commit to branding yourself consistently across all platforms and communicate not only to your customers but also your team that when they are talking about the company or when they're using company logos, here's the way that it should be done. So you want to commit and communicate. Secondly, you want to craft a style guide or create a style guide. We're going to show you one here real quickly from a restaurant here local to Uniontown, Pennsylvania. It's called The Foundry. And as we scroll through the pages of this PDF that a graphic designer came up with, it's all about building consistency in the brand. There are ways that the logo is to be used, and there are only certain logos that are to be used. You can see there are also specific colors with which the logo is supposed to be used and things that should never be done with the logo, the ways that it should not be used. And there's also textures and imagery that go along with that. So you want to create a style guide that you can use to communicate to your team and to anybody else that you may hire to build consistency in branding. Lastly, you want to connect all of the dots. You can't just be consistent when you're talking to people about your brand. It has to be in your email, through your social media presence, on your website. Anywhere you look where your company is represented, you want to be consistent and communicate the same message. So this has been Consistency in Branding, 8 Ways to Improve Your Brand.
So we want to thank Zach for sharing the first 3 installments of 8 Ways to Improve Your Brand. Next week, we'll look forward to Courtney Kay bringing us her perspective on packaging as far as building the experience of your brand through packaging. So nice little series. You can catch up on the first couple if you missed them on stahlstv.com under the Morning Show archive. They're there as part of the episode. Today's lecture at hand, though, is opportunities with digital printing, and specifically with print-cut. And so when we talk about print-cut in general, just to make sure all of the viewers have a grasp of this technology and how it works, can you walk us through the process?
Sure. People are using a lot of heat transfer films using a regular vinyl cutter, so we're working with one layer at a time. Awesome way. A lot of profits available there using single color, but the trend is for more. People want full color, or at least multiple colors. And so for me to do that with a vinyl cutter, I'm going to have to start layering one color on top of another. It's time consuming and it can start to get heavy on the shirt.
Right.
So with the print and cut process, we're starting with the same type of heat transfer film. Vinyl as a kind of a generic sense, but it's more of a polyurethane material. One color, one layer, white material, printing with solvent-based inks. So I print the full color onto the design. The printer does it, at least the printer cutter that we're used to using, the Roland VersaCAM. It will print the full color and then it will come back and contour cut around the design, around every color and inside cavities. And you put the cut lines where you decide you want them. And we'll talk about that a little bit later about how to improve the hand by doing that. So full color, cuts around the design. Your job starts when it's time to weed away the excess, pick away the material from around the outside and in any trap cavities that would be there. And then we're going to lift it up with that transfer mask, that sticky mask that you see here. Tacky, clear, Scotch tape on steroids, basically. So you can pick up that design and then apply it to the shirt. So it's basically a transfer mask.
Good. So the process is print, cut, machine does all the work there.
Yep.
The operator needs to weed away the excess.
Correct.
Which implies you don't want to do too fine detail because you're going to have to control all that small text and grunge effect that you may want, right? And then after it's weeded, we need the mask to pick it all up as one piece. But the great part of this process is it is all a single layer.
Yes.
And we don't have to, which means it feels lighter on the garment, but it also means we don't have to process and weed individual layers.
That's correct, absolutely. And it's exceptionally durable as well. Because what makes it durable, in my mind, is, well, in anybody's mind, is one of it is the solvent-based ink. This typical printer, the inkjet printer that you have next to your computer now, it's a pigment-based ink. And while it will give you full color, not quite the same vibrancy, but it's definitely not the same durability. These are good for 50-plus washings. It's designed to be outdoors for over 3 years with no UV protection. So it's an exceptionally durable process.
Sounds expensive.
Not at all. Actually, the ink is the cheapest part of the process. Good setup.
Hey, like that's a little lob for you.
Yeah, you've got 3 major parts to this, including the material you're printing on, the ink you're printing with, and even the transfer mask to lift the design up. You're looking at somewhere between 2 and 2.5 cents per square inch. Everything included short of your labor. That's all your direct materials.
Good. So basically, so far you have the workflow, you have the ink. This is good for full color, obviously, multiple colors.
Yep.
Like most heat printing work, it's good for small to medium size runs. Would you say that's fair?
Absolutely. If I have 250 two-color designs, I'm going to get a transfer made from Transfer Express or Plastisol ink or direct screen print. But for all those jobs that are multicolor, shorter runs, quick turn, this is absolutely the best way to go because I can go to, well, any fabric.
Okay, and let's start with the most basic fabric, at least in my mind, is that of a cotton polyester blend or 100% cotton. And then this is a good example of a multicolor logo. I think there's 5 or 6 colors in this design, all on a single layer, print, cut, applied, masked, and then applied to this cotton t-shirt. And you start to really pick up on the back of this here some of the opportunities with color gradients that you can actually design in. So it really opens you up to a lot more than even just layered looks.
Absolutely. It's going to take your decorations to the next level. It's going to give your graphic artist some freedom to finally do some things that they'd really like to do because I can now print all that detail.
Okay. And then for what separates this technology, one of the ways it really separates itself from other digital print technology is the versatility with the adhesives and what you can actually apply to. And so we've selected this sample of a nylon jacket. Is a great example of sort of going wider on your different wearable fabric types.
Absolutely. There's not a fabric out there that we really can't adhere to unless it has a special coating on it.
You got me grinning because I think you already hit the over on the absolutely. So anybody's playing their Stahls TV Morning Show drinking game, they're in trouble right now.
I'll change it right away.
All right. Not only can you do different fabrics, and one of the key ones is the performance tee. So there's also low temperature adhesives as well.
Most assuredly.
So it gives you really the opportunity to not only get into different fabrics, but get into heat-sensitive fabrics. And this shows off another advantage of the print cut process, and that's special effect materials.
Yes. Yeah. The trend today are these heat-sensitive, delicate performance wear. You need to go to low temperature. These are applying like 280 degrees, so you really minimize the risk of scorching, and you get that great stretch and rebound to go with that fabric.
Yeah, and a metallic finish in this case.
Everybody wins.
Getting that sheen off of there. Not only is it special effect on the materials, one of the big things, so once you move beyond just your standard color gradients and whatnot, the ability to really get distressed effects or different fills and patterns in the actual design work. So whether it's just a fill in the number pattern that you see here with that grunge-like effect, or as part of the logo with this distressed effect that's in the Warriors text there, there's a lot of opportunity to really leverage quality artwork and set yourself apart with the art.
Absolutely. Taking it to the next level, that's another absolutely, by the way.
Yeah, and so we always promote Great Dane Graphics, and some of the artwork that they have is a stock clip art, but This requires a pretty decent sized equipment investment, but you can do a lot with it. Before you would invest in print cut technology, you want to make sure you have some art experience.
Yeah, the graphics can be the most challenging. I'm not saying that it's a definite roadblock by any stretch, but if you've got the graphics down, or at least a means to get good graphics and to kind of assemble them yourself, you're way ahead of the game, because the rest of the process is a pretty simple process.
Okay, and so just looking at what we have here so far, how does this sort of separate itself from your traditional digital print processes, or even some of the emerging ones like direct-to-garment or sublimation? How does this play in?
Yeah, those are the two other big full-color type of process when it comes to digital printing. Direct-to-garment, while it gives you a great hand, it's largely for 100% cotton and can be somewhat maintenance-laden. You're going to have a lot of maintenance involved when it comes to that. Again, playing off the versatility, the sublimation, which is another great process, but again, somewhat limited to polyester and white or light polyester. With this process, what I love about it is it's any fabric of any color, any quantity.
So when you look at the wearables market and those particular technology for wearables, this is definitely the most versatile with what it can actually print.
Absolutely.
And so moving beyond wearables just into other fabric-based items, I brought a bag of tricks here that I want to walk through. And so you can see we already have the logo on the outside of the bag. And let's pull out some additional samples. With the right heat press and the right platen, you can start to do unique items. Here we have a cooler bag. So this would be really good for the kid taking his drinks or his lunch to the field, or even to the first day of school, which was today for some of us in this area. You can do things like, wrong bag. You can do things like pad folios. Here we have a leather pad folio, so when you start to talk about small quantity, sort of mid-size runs, the ability to call on local businesses or coaches, be able to do a more professional item like a pad folio. And then if we're selling the pad folio, let's say to a local car dealership, the umbrella is a great add-on sale, so the ability with the right platens to actually apply this graphic to an umbrella. All of these are the same sort of concept with the same apparel-based print media, being able to apply over to a wide range of non-wearables that are fabric-based. In this case, a blanket that sort of folds up in the shape of a bag that has a nylon backing to keep it durable. So there is a lot of, once again, with the right heat press, because you have to be able to reach these areas, which is why we always promote the Fusion or the Air Fusion for its ability to do that. There's a lot of different sort of opportunities to the same customer to increase your average sale amount.
Yeah, the easiest way to pick up sales is to sell more to your existing customer base. They already trust you. You've already performed well for them. Now we need to expand what we can offer them. And this is a great way to do that. Not just their apparel, but the accessories to go with that. And then ultimately, we can expand even further now that we have this versatile piece of equipment, this print and cut process, to get into the non-wearables or the not even non-heat transfer, non-fabric type of product. So the most commonly used, I have my own bag of tricks. Whoop.
I feel like it needs a sound effect.
Yeah, we'll get a whoop on that. Of course, there's the same logo we've been looking at on this 600 denier polyester bag, which everybody loves. It's very, very textured type of material, so the fabric blends right together with the image. The next most commonly used when you go from heat transfer to non-wearables is going to be simple decals. There's some on the ground, but there's a whole yard worth of window decals. Not stickers. Stickers are the things that you get from the dentist when you're good. These are decals. These are professionally done window decals. All right, so each one of these, while you can sell each one of these for $2 to $5, it's a great way to continue showing that logo everywhere. But the cost, honestly, the cost for you is under a dime to produce that, including material and ink. There's another similar opportunity for that same decal on top of that plastic water bottle. Moving on from the decals, the most commonly used processed are banners. Any type of signage, but direct to banner printing, a 13-ounce vinyl banner like this. While this is a scaled down version, most people are looking at 36-inch to 48 inches, so you'll need a little bigger printer for this, but it's an awesome way to capture more of your customers' needs as far as graphics go.
And that's I want to point out, that's print only.
This is print. Yeah, there's no cutting on this one. This is print. You just put this in your machine, push go, here's your sign.
And it prints directly to
Directly
the banner
to it.
material.
That's ink to banner material. And again, this is outdoor, without any extra additives to it. It's going to be good for 3+ years without any UV protection. So it's going to keep its color very nicely.
And I know one of the common questions that I always get when we're demonstrating this at a trade show is, do I have to change the ink out for this, or what do I need to do to swap between all these different printable
The only
materials?
thing you do is change the material, and then in the RIP software, you'll choose which material you're printing on so that the settings are proper so that you get a good print quality on all of it. So never changing the ink unless they start to run out. But honestly, you'll be 6 to 9 months before you replace ink on any of those machines when you first start it.
Okay.
Another big opportunity is going to be not just the adhesive decals, but a static cling. This happens to be just a clear static cling that, again, puts right on top of the, a little tough to see without anything behind it, but it's a clear, that comes in both clear and white. This goes on the window, take it down, up and down as many times as you like, so no adhesive necessary there. One of my other favorites is a ultra removable, I'm going to leave it on the carrier here, but ultra removable wall graphic material. For lack of a better term, the fathead material. Great for decals like this for schools and for sports, but also for children's rooms, for toddlers' rooms. This very elementary art, very easy to produce. Put on the walls, the love lines, everything for the living rooms, etc. Even for the adult.
Love lines.
The love lines. Live, laugh, love. All that stuff.
All right.
Yeah, those are called love lines.
Sorry, I was unfamiliar with
Well, you'll learn something every day. And then lastly, maybe not ultimately lastly, but last we're going to show here today is the satin canvas. A satin canvas wall grab. I got it, Jeff. The satin canvas gallery wrap, full photo quality. This is awesome for wedding photos, for senior pictures. Again, another very high-end perceived value that doesn't cost you a ton to produce as long as you have a full quality photo. The higher res photo, the better the picture. Awesome as far as photorealism, gradients, fades, grayscale, beautiful print.
So print only, wrap it around a frame, and ready to sell, basically.
Exactly.
So there's one thing that I can't leave out of this bag, and I have to pull this out. A CD case.
Absolutely.
Do they make these anymore? I think I got
I know. I have a whole room full of them. I don't know about
Fleetwood
you.
Mac in here. Got a little Led Zeppelin. So, anyways, a CD case. It's interesting. Those are probably dying out. It'd be like putting your sticker to a floppy disk, right?
Possibly.
Okay. So a lot of opportunity. The whole idea of this was to show you that the digital print technology, once you have the tough part, that's the artwork created, you can go really wide with the applications and present a lot of products to a customer to sell.
Yes, absolutely.
And so when you look at that, as you're considering investing money, most people consider investments sort of at the end of the calendar year, the tax year. I know we're sort of approaching September, so you start to consider what capital investments that you're going to make in the business from an equipment standpoint. And we believe here at Stahls TV that print cut is one of those technologies that can really help a business grow. Now, just to be fair and balanced, what do you see as some of the sort of weaknesses to print cut?
In print cut, if there is a weakness, it's going to be in some of the detail that you can get, like as far as the free-floating text. While I want a lot of cavity as much as possible to make the hand feel good, so it doesn't feel like a decal on the shirt, so I don't have this great big piece of vinyl as people would perceive it as. I also can't go the other extreme and have a lot of 1/4-inch high text with serifs on it, because it's going to take me a long time and almost be impossible to weed and mask that. So you want to try to encapsulate some of the finer detail within the boundaries of the cut line, but keeping those little letters and things like that can be a little difficult, because that is the labor process. The printing and cutting, that's easy. It's your part that you want to try to balance as far as labor goes.
So when we talk about full front graphics on cotton t-shirts, really that's the limitation. Can you do it? Yes. Would you want to purchase this piece of equipment if that's your core business and you do a lot of small quantity onto full front cotton t-shirts? You probably at that point would look to direct to garment.
Direct to garment, or if the quantity is large enough, then you're buying just the regular transfers, the plastisol transfers.
Yeah, but for the small to mid-sized business, or a business that's doing a lot of synthetic fabrics or a lot of different applications, you want to have versatility. it's a great solution for that. So I know there's some questions rolling in that we want to make sure we get to. So let's turn it over for some questions right now.
They'd like to know what type of machine was that you used, or which machine was used for printing those items?
Most of these specific model and brand, these were all done off of the Roland VersaCAM, and most of them were done on the VS300i, just because it's a more efficient printer, and also has that has the 8 cartridges of ink, so it gives me that photorealism that we're looking for. But there is a lesser model that's going to cost about half the price, do most of the same type of work, just not as quickly.
That's the BN20.
That's the Roland BN20, the Versa Studio BN20.
Yeah, if you really want to leverage the versatility of the machine, the bigger the better. So you can get a 54-inch printer is sort of the recommended. If you can't afford that, dropping down to a 30, especially if apparel is the primary application, is reasonable.
Correct.
If it's a very small business and you just want the offering, then a 20-inch model.
Yeah, I say if you're even thinking about banners, then go 54. But if you have no intention of doing banners, someone's doing those for you very affordably right now. 30-inch is my sweet spot, because I get the efficiency and speed and full color gamut without really breaking the bank up going a little higher.
And you can still do the wall graphics, the decals, the window clings, all of those popular applications. Okay, what other questions?
Sticking with the banner, they'd like to know what the cost of the banner was that you actually showed, and then what would they expect as a return for that?
That's a tricky question as far as the return. I can tell you what it costs to produce. You're going to be that 50 to 60 cents per square foot of banner and ink combined. Now, there's always additional cost if you're going to do any hemming and grommeting, but it depends on how long you expect that banner to be up, if it's going to be outdoors or indoors. What you can sell it for, it really varies around the country, which is it's kind of unique the way that the market is. Southern California, they're happy to get $3 to $4 a square foot out of their banners. But up here in the Northeast and even higher, depending on your competition, I've had folks get $8 to $10 a square foot. So it's a very big range of costs, what you can be selling them for.
Yeah, but with that cost structure, there's a lot of opportunity to make profit, period, especially when the machine's doing most of the work for you.
There is, and there's nothing like satisfying an existing customer and handling their job for them, regardless of what the cost would be. They don't have to go elsewhere. You never want to introduce them to another vendor if you can help it.
Great. All right, what else, Joe?
On the water bottle, did you laminate the decal before applying it to the bottle, and which material did you use for that?
Before we go too deep there, let's talk about over laminate and laminating in general, and then we can answer that question.
Yeah, laminating is just another clear layer of film, usually a 3 mil piece of material that goes over top to help protect those inks and avoid scratch resistance. So if it's a football helmet on field, absolutely, I'm going to use a very thick over laminate there. If it's a car wrap, something, or a permanent decal on a car that's going to be there for a long time, I'm going to put a laminate on that. That requires a separate machine for the most part. You're putting another roller type machine that's actually going to roll that on there so it prints with registration marks. The laminate goes onto the material, then we put it back into the machine and it cuts around wherever you've set the cut lines. So that's kind of what lamination is for. It can help increase the longevity of the ink as well. So you can add in probably another couple years. So now we get maybe 5 years of lack of fading on the ink. But as far as this for this plastic bottle, this one was probably just done with the standard glossy calendar vinyl. It's typical 5-year 3 mil type material. If I wanted to keep it from being, especially if I wanted to put this in the dishwasher, I'm going to put a laminate on that, because the chlorine in the dishwashing liquid, or whatever the little pods that I use, are going to break down that ink.
So recommend a laminate for durability, especially if it's going to be washed or if it's going to get rugged use.
Exactly, if it's going to be. But a lot of these cases, some of these are pretty much just promotional type of products, and I don't want to say throwaways, but they're not intended for long type of life. So manage your customers' expectations before you really throw everything at it. Maybe they don't expect any more than just a single handout for the end of a marathon or something else they gave as a parting gift.
Yep, got it. All right, I think we have time for 1 or 2 more questions.
We just have one more here, and they like the idea of the umbrella, and they're just wondering if you could give them a source for them to purchase them from.
There's a lot of sources for umbrellas. I mean, I know we tend to go towards Sanmar for everything to try to get, save on shipping, to get our apparel with our umbrellas, with our bags, et cetera. So they have a good wide range of umbrellas. And then I know if you are a member of ASI, which is the Advertising Specialty Institute. There's a lot of sort of special sources for umbrellas, whether it's golf umbrellas or larger sort of sport umbrellas, whatever they may be. Do you have any other ones that jump out?
Oh, there's a lot of them out there. I mean, that are just specifically for that, and Peerless and Toppers, and you really just do a quick Google search, you will find a whole lot of opportunity there. The trick is make sure that you're getting someone that's got that umbrellas that are designed for heat printing. So not just because you found an umbrella at Walmart or wherever the case may be, it may not be the best solution. You want one that's designed just for heat transfer.
Decorated apparel.
For decorating apparel, correctly.
Yeah, okay. All right, I think we're clear on questions. So next week on the Stahls TV Morning Show, well, there is not one. It's Labor Day.
Yay!
But we'll have another morning show. We'll be back to you on September 12th, and I know there's quite a few live sessions coming over the next week or two. September 7th, I'm real excited for one I'm doing all about heat transfer foil, where we'll be showing you different techniques for applying new foil products that are out on the market. So a lot planned for the end of the year here at Stahls TV. As always, thanks for watching the morning show, and Bob, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem. Great to be here.
Have a great week.